snip, it did feel like the onus was so heavily on degster to be making plays, to be making things happen on the CT side, that sometimes he would overextend. So despite him getting his numbers, they lost a lot of these 4v2s, a lot of these 3v2 situations as well. And a team that can't close those out is always going to have some trouble. But we're actually heading into the game right now, I do believe. As it was going to be Inferno, the first map to come through. It is GODSENT's pick.
Yeah, our veto was as follows. Vertigo banned by GODSENT, OG taking out Nuke, Inferno, this is GODSENT's pick, and then we have Mirage and Ancient in the series to round out the rest. So, yeah, this first map will be critically important, it feels like, for GODSENT, punching above their weight. They beat Fnatic earlier on in these close qualifiers. Let's see if they can take down another international team in OG. We're going to have to see how the CT side starts for them, though. No kit available for those CTs, just a flash and a nade that they can deploy if they even read where GODSENT are headed.
Going to be a big if, but doesn't seem like they're going to be completely primed up for it, OG. The only way that they're going to be able to get this information is if they can actually start getting aggressive down banana, and that does seem to be a call now that the smokes have started to come through. Rotation coming in from Fiku, while we will see Flames and Nico actually going in for the backstab, but will it be too late? Neofrag on the bomb site, waits for it around the corner, double jump up as the crosses come through. Neofrag is down, degster makes it 2. Nico now in with the flank, but ZTR is out of the balcony. He's going to re-peek back over. Nico getting very much danced around, and Joel's being given a chance to come in from behind.
Oh, yeah, real opportunity there. Fiku now moving in from Moto, and ZTR is still keeping these players busy in the apartments, down to 6 HP, but keeping himself alive. That's going to keep the numbers afloat here for GODSENT in this post plant. They're just not getting anything on the side of OG, and another falls on that retake attempt. They've already bailed. They understand that the time is too low. They had no kit. And so OG tap out, GODSENT a solid take, and managing their resources quite handily. There might be players that go down with that bomb, but they don't care. It's a round win nonetheless here on the GODSENT side. Very simple. Run out through that A-bomb side, and OG just couldn't find the kills they needed to slow down that push. Very weird that they had flanks on flanks, but yeah. GODSENT will take it. I think this is one of the things we certainly noted about the OG NIP matchup, is that, listen, OG are a team that do like to sort of play loose and can sort of bring teams to be in uncomfortable positions, be in very scrappy duels. I think what we noted, though, was that there needs to be somebody else that sort of instigates action. degster was like the only person we could really look to find opening duels. He looked like he was almost desperate to find opening frags, as opposed to looking for the right opportunities.
And just to sort of add to what you were talking about, the right opportunities, we're not just talking about, hey, this guy needed one opening duel. It felt like degster thought that he's not going to win the round unless he gets at least 2, even 3 at times. And in his credit, he was sometimes getting them.
No, I mean, he was doing about as much of a job as you could expect from him, really, but there has to be somebody else. And, you know, I'd usually look at players like Neofrag and Flames to be players to do exactly that, especially on CT.
Maybe a chance for here to get that scout to good use, but Rusty ducks out of dodge, and he's going to be A-okay. Sold out of Fiku with the D-Eagle. Spots out lots of heads, but can't really find them. Plopski take him down over there as well.
Nice kill for Nico. Had armor alongside that pistol. And Draken does at least take down his teammate. All the meanwhile, Nico's got his hands on the Galil, which is one of the rifles that GODSENT came into this round with, and you imagine they want to get Plopski into a rifle himself. Draken finally deals with him, and Plopski, can he make his way into the apartments fast enough to pick it up? Answer, no. So, still 3 alive, still retaining that armor. Plopski will keep the stats, but losing one of those rifles, it's not like it doesn't come at some level of cost, but it at least was a cheaper one at that. OG will have to bend the knee, forced by finding nothing, and down to just USPs. And that's where that SMG still being a part of the equation for GODSENT means they can farm up some extra cash in this round.
Ah, yes, the good old Fnatic stack. Not quite, but near to it. So that is one of the biggest get the hell out of there moments you can ever see in Counter-Strike.
About the easiest way for them to clear it as well. Just a little jiggle there from Rusty, and he has spotted almost everybody. You know, I think bar one player, and so immediately GODSENT realize. Very good probe by one of these SMGs, the forwards, and Joel can make some cash alongside it. Already too low, and Draken out in no man's land. This is a little expensive.
degster might even be able to get another bit of money for himself over here. Well, great start for GODSENT, as they will be able to get all three underway. And listen, sure, they do lose a fair bit over here, but also at the same time, you've got floating cash behind. You're okay. As long as you can save these 2 rifles, it's still going to be a pretty nice little buffer to have for yourself. The only question is now, degster, I see that 3750. I know what that means. That means an op's coming.
Three-round start is exactly what you want to see here from GODSENT. Definitely the underdogs coming into this matchup, but I don't think it's as much as people would maybe expect. You know, you see teams like OG a little bit more frequently. GODSENT, of course, this being a new project, need to prove their worth. But I think the Fnatic win is very, very legitimizing. Still about whether they can capitalize on the fact that they've stayed alive so far in this bracket. degster already taking a deep peek over through the apartments. No one was there to spot as well to cross over to Boiler, so degster should be somewhat uncleared for. Joel might have the heads up, but degster gets the better. So that's the opening duel that you're really hoping to see out of this AWP nice and early. GODSENT taking a lot of damage from the earlier duels as well over at Banana. They are weak in the knees.
Oh. Timing on the retake's going to give up the trig as well. You can see the rotations. degster is making his way back over to the B-bomb site. Smoke down as well. Near frag. Molotov and grenade combinations going to keep them at bay as well. ZTR down low. Rusty's not feeling too good about himself, but at least he's not dead and fried. ZTR down. Rusty, only one able to get a frag so far, and it does seem like both he and Draken are going to be locked away from the bomb. So hard to get back to it. Draken just trying to cover up the flank, and now he's got to do it all.
Oh, well, enough for that little jump peek there from Nico. Might have been caught off guard, but was so concerned about being held for. Ended up spotting Draken out, so no success. Only the 1 casualty, and they will certainly take it. OG on the board early with their first gun round. And now dipping into the reserves. GODSENT hoping to answer back. And this is one of those things where, you know, you win those 3 rounds straight, and you having a couple casualties thrown in here or there, it sometimes doesn't feel like there's going to be sort of significant ramifications, but after losing 1 round, they're already down to sort of suboptimal arsenal. You know, no AWP that can be brought up for Draken as well to contest that degster big green.
I'm surprised OG is leaning so heavily back toward the B-bomb site this early in. They're really expecting a hit to come out over there. Instead, not though. It is the Archers division, and they're going to be trying to force their way back to CT. Near frag's here to cover it, and it's a great position to be in already. Can isolate a few duels easily. I say easily. Still has to win them out. Spots out the shoulder of ZTR. That's gone, and he's able to dodge out Deagles as well to be able to reface back over. Draken. That's a Molotov that's never going to spread to him. But hey, at least he was covered off from the back. You think so? Near frag, however, still tagged up. And degster's managed to creep past as well. Draken might have something he can do here. degster missing out the shot. A rare miss means that they've lost out what could be an advantage gone as well. Neofrag down. Only Fiku left on this B-bomb site. They should know he's here, and the smoke is visible where it's thrown in from. Fiku, the call is there for where he is, and that's going to be 2 regardless. Found out, making it possible in 2-on-2. Bomb still not retrieved yet, so Draken on 2 HP. But now the AWP recovered is looking to get the most out of it. Problem is, he has to get all of it out of it. 1-on-1 now. Position for Nico given up as well, but shots been missed, and Draken, a real chance there, but just not one he's able to capitalize on.
Yeah, just too low HP for that final duel. Nico, as soon as he realized where he was coming from, just came around with that corner pre-firing, and you know, Fiku on top of the first oranges did as much as you could really expect from him. I mean, just there's an entrance to B smoke. He deploys that smoke to sort of feign like he's sort of falling back or, you know, playing defensive in from the new boxes. And, you know, theoretically they could have seen the trajectory of the smoke, but I think it was very clear that they didn't actually know where he threw it from. So the bait worked. Draken, a total journeyman within the Swedish scene. A guy that I'm honestly surprised he sort of transition came back, because I think he went to Valorant for a little bit, but you know, did kind of miss his style of AWPing. You know, very flashy guy when it comes to it, but has had his chances on pretty much every big Swedish organization. He's been in a load of mixed teams as well.
Was he on Fnatic?
He was on Fnatic as well.
Ah, I don't remember that. Well, missed shot, degster getting a few of those, unfortunately. Can't be feeling too good about it. Fortunately, he does have Mr. Flame Z on the side. I know that's not his name, but still.
Well, if you asked him at the start of his pro career, he would have said it was.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad he changed his mind.
People called him Flames, and he was like, it's actually Flame Z. And then I think he came to realize that Flames actually just sounded better. So sometimes players can't make up their minds either. But sticking with full rifles across the board here on the GODSENT camp, not like there was an option for Draken to invest in it himself. Someone else would have had to compromise their armor if that was to be the case. It's certainly unideal, but a decision that they are happy enough to make. Just about facilitating, and I think this is the big distinction that I think teams that are on the come up need to make, is utilizing your AWP player in a way where if they're on a rifle, they can be a part of the action. Like if they're still playing the same spots or going for the same kinds of fights, just without an AWP, that feels like you're sort of underutilizing the extra body that you have for an execute. Looking at Draken potentially being a space taker, make it a little easier for the rest of the GODSENT camp to perform operations.
Oh, well, wow.
What a spam.
Fantastic.
Good heads up from Joel. A player that's been touted as being the next guy up for a while in the Swedish scene. 18 years old and putting up some very solid numbers, even in his time at Monty. Now as well, transitioning into GODSENT, he's performing more and more to the level of a star. Plopski trying to find entries over at B, but there is no one alive and kicking inside of the site. Neofrag gets one on the spam, but that won't be enough to slow down and stop this round from being in contention here from OG. It's a call to save as they realize they are too out of position to contest this one, and a man down to boot. This will be a fourth for GODSENT.
Unfortunately for them, they can't really do too much about the OG economy, despite the one-on-one that they did lose out earlier on. Can't really look to punish them. Just your own economy is just absolutely devastated. Gotta say though, I am interested to see. Obviously, it's just a couple of shots here and there, but degster with some uncharacteristic misses, and I'm curious about whether that becomes more of a theme right now in Inferno, because regardless of how good Flames and Neofrag can be, and in particular, you know, I think Nico's obviously been a very surprising fragging element of this team in what we've covered. It's going to be the focus.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what degster's cooking with. We haven't seen him be as hyperactive, as hyper-aggressive, and maybe that's just conducive to Inferno for OG, moreover than I think where we saw most of the sort of quote-unquote desperate peaks from degster happening on Vertigo. It's a good way to start, sussing out a lot of the early plans here of OG. Some banana presence, nades didn't connect, and the boost over in middle found nothing as well. So taking space in Banana while they still can, they needed an extra man over on that A site to perform that boost. No way they do that with just 2, right?
Oh dear. Not quite the flashbang you want to see. And the spam with that as well. ZTR is feeling a bit unhealthy. Come down with a cold.
Joel's kept over some presence in the apartment, so know that OG have let this one be vacant. And now a slow creep here from GODSENT to try and attain some brackets control. OG are playing more defensive inside of the site. That early pressure over on B has forced a rotation, and for now they will be none the wiser. These smokes will indicate some level of presence, but whether or not they commit to a full wrap will be still yet to be determined. They've got another set of smokes that they can load back up onto this bomb site. OG still not moving that third man away from B.
Beautiful night coming out. Nico's been able to prime them all up just to tenderize and bring him down. First frag found. Flames up above. Good for the second. Dodges out the bullets of ZTR, who's very low but still very aggressive. And in that aggression will connect. Smoke's now dissipating. They counted that one down. Nico will die to the fires, but not before he takes one with him. Draken. Demise has been met, and again, a 1-on-2 with a player who's a bit too low and doesn't quite have the weapon for it either. ZTR's going to have the nicest taps you've ever seen, and he just can't get it all together. Another 1-on-1 being brought through by OG.
Yeah, phenomenal job there from Nico. I mean, his counter utility for that hit, you know, not with certainty that they were going to be moving up through short at that particular time, but the nade dunking them, like you said, tenderizing these players before they actually even transition in the site. The fact that he got that smoke down as well kept him alive for that much longer, and him getting those 2 kills just meant that by the time that OG rotate in, suddenly the numbers are thinned. He even had a chance to maybe even just survive. You know, he was just on the very edge of that Molotov before being taken down. There was no one that could properly trade him, body clear him. Nades are decent as well over Banana, this time over from OG. Last time they deployed them close to the half wall, this time a little deeper.
So annoying, oh my god.
And there's more nades where that came from, baby.
It's like grandma's cooking. It never ends.
What? Just perpetual cooking?
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, grandma's just insane stamina when it comes to cooking.
I mean, I know if you say you're hungry, they'll cook, you know? It's just the idea of perpetually cooking sounds like your gas expenditures are just going to be through the roof.
Hey man, maybe that's why it's a developing country. Too many grandmas. Oh my god, Rusty, come on, baby. You can't be doing that out here.
Yeah, a little brazen to take a peek like that. And Dexter takes all the free room as a result of that kill. 2 kills, and that's bomb dropped. Joel trying his best to at least contest for it. Flash is good. Dexter forced off the angle, but only for a moment's notice. Yeah, maybe hovering a little too long. Plopski dealing with Dexter topside B, but only 25 seconds left. They have to try to commit to this site, and Joel's entry is phenomenal.
Well, that bomb plant isn't, unfortunately. Fiku, courtesy of the smoke gone by, able to get that one for free. Plopski now trying to take a lead forward. 10 seconds means that he was really not going to be able to take that round away regardless if he finds a kill or not, but maybe a saved AK could have been nice.
Three main hitters on GODSENT are going to be Joel Plopski and Draken, respectively. Plopski as well, you know, very similar to many of these players on this roster. Looking for a bounce back after the removal from NIP, who have since been, you know, a little turbulent, perhaps. But I don't think that's too out of character for NIP in recent years. But it feels like they're on the right track. You know, this time there doesn't seem to be more roster moves on the horizon for them. And that was always something that they had to be concerned about. Of course, one of our other lower bracket teams fighting against Fnatic, so Could be a nice little
Fun,
head.
personally.
Yeah, if somehow GODSENT make it through and NIP do as well, that could be a nice little tie-in with the organization. Many a player have passed through those NIP walls.
True, but also just from a historical perspective, Godsend versus Fnatic is obviously quite fun as well. If anyone knows how Godsend started off, just with, hey, we're just gonna steal half of Fnatic's players.
Yep.
The great divide of Swedish CS.
And the Pronax tie-in, yeah, I see it.
Molotov there, you can't go through that. Sorry guys, no smokes. Where do they want to use these grenades? It's just like 4 nades back to pit. Is that just the plan? Flashbang in, Dexter's got a freebie. In the meanwhile, they're gonna try and move forward. Dexter's position given up. Those nades are gonna do nothing, guys. Dexter's not nearby. Wow.
Just not scared, is he, of fighting pistols? He knew what was coming as soon as he dealt with the first one. It's like, okay, well, I can just use my USP here. And I think that's where those nades were destined to go. The problem is, you know, they never got enough room to even deploy them. So they wanted to throw them into the pit, teach Nico a lesson. But this ain't school. Timeout now from GODSENT, and finally an AWP into Draken's hands, the most comfortable buy they've had so far coming into this half. They've been playing a bit of catch-up since losing the first gun round to OG. Feel like they can never get their money in the right place to facilitate this big green. And now it's time for Draken to try and justify it. Said it was a flashy AWPer. I will be a little saddened if he doesn't try and do something a little brazen in the mid-round with it. Early, there's only so much you can do. Try and dodge out all the early utility from those CTs. But an early mid-smoke and a quick cross from Dexter into the apartments. Also, Rusty trying to phase smoke inside of top B. He's actually passed it around the other side of that half wall. And so this Molotov down, Neofrag having to turn around. Rusty doesn't actually move in to try and capitalize. There's no follow-up flash.
Rusty's also is completely blind as the smoke is dissipating. He's gone, but ZTR was the one playing anti, so it's a refrag now. Bomb still back at T-spawn, let's not forget, so there's no real destination set for this wedding. Joel, last time out it was Dexter to get his better. This time out might just be the same. No, shot missed. Joel keeps a little salsa going, and Dexter now he wants to meet his dance partner face to face. Joel, it can't be showing leg like that. Dexter's gonna come out and see who you are.
I feel like Joel just didn't get the heads up or didn't get the memo that Dexter don't leave.
God damn, Dexter, kind of clingy out here. Oh, domination from Dexter. Oh my days.
Oh my god. Plopski was deploying a Molotov and he almost caught him on a timing, but finally dealt with. Plopski was on 2 HP, and to follow up with another frag is very important. Plopski now using that low HP to wield that AWP, but there's an HE that could have his name written all over it.
Well, unfortunately, he has missed the package. It's been delivered to a neighbor, and it won't be returned anytime soon. Plopski covering the cross. Flames has to be so careful about how he strays out. 4-hit miss shot. Plopski's gone. ZTR all alone. This time much healthier in the 1v2. He's got a real chance here. And as the peak starts to come forward, first one's a freebie. Second one is now located. Fiku should keep the wallbang attempts going, but he's a little bit slow to the bomb. Won't be able to get to it in time. Right at the nick of it. I think he has it. It's going to be just about the closest it can be. Yeah. And 7 for OG.
Oh, yeah, cutting it real thin by fine margins, and I think as soon as ZTR realized where he was positioned, he knew he made a mistake. That box permeable, he took damage through it, and finally finished off. It is close, and, you know, if he could redo that clutch in his head, if he could have jiggled and figured out where Friku was, tucking at the back of the bomb site with that firm brick wall in front of him, could have been enough to buy them time for that bomb to finally go off. A shame, but one that Fiku is happy to capitalize on. Good clutch for him. OG continuing the good times here on CT.
Surprised Draken doesn't try and commit to when he hears that grenade being pulled.
Hard to know if he's simply throwing that grenade by himself or not, running through that smoke. Could have been a silly way to lose an opening duel.
I still can't believe degster got that shot on Draken. It's very nice.
Sometimes it does perplex me how or why degster's done much of anything. to be quite honest, he makes, you know, he understands the right decision. I think that's an important distinction to make. Like degster is somebody that obviously knows which is the correct play to make, but you know, sometimes rules are made to be broken, and I feel like degster subscribes to that mantra pretty heavily.
Flames trying to push through over here. There's no flashbang to help him out either. That's a little bit of a madman play, but at least it'll help them get the rotates out in a little bit more timely of a fashion. Nico good only for one. It's Neofrag to finish off what Nico started, but Joel, the healthier man, will be able to swing right out from short and take him down. Bomb planted as well.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure who threw that flash over towards long, because there was a flash. Somebody threw it just way too early. I'm not sure when it was called for or whether Flames tried to prompt it or not, but the flash bloomed much earlier than Flames sort of committed. You know, that's when we saw him actually sort of quick switch to jump into the smoke in at long. Had it been sort of correctly timed after the smoke had bloomed, then there was maybe a chance for him to catch them out. But yeah, just I think a bit of synchronicity issues there for OG on that particular hit. A very slow worker in from GODSENT, and much more defensive from this OG CT side. After all those other rounds of aggression, at some point you do have to peel back, you know, make them work for that ground again. But good punishment kills there from GODSENT that secure the round. It's only 2, but the initial were only 2, but it's okay. You know, they'll happily take rounds like it. If OG get away with some weapons, they know it's going to be pretty much a safe simulator for CT sides if they just don't get early information about where that hit's coming from. Not a whole lot left in the tank here for OG in response should they lose this round. So this is a potential pivot point for GODSENT to reaffirm their position after taking a solid start at the beginning of this map.
Very put together over on Banana, and they're really going to be able to take advantage of the fact that OG's got no real desire to contend for middle in the slightest, but despite that, degster's managed to cheat his rotation away. It's been a very good hold on the A side so far. Now Neofrag good for one, traded out. Rusty responds. degster knows there's about 8 seconds left on the smoke before he can start to really get into play, and GODSENT's window would be closing, but they've managed to re-smoke it. degster looking to push through the smoke, will be able to move forward, gets a no-scope, moves out as well, but will be caught out and traded. Joel through the smoke will find degster. Fiku on the bomb site will demise. And now, flashbang forward, bombs being planted. Flames has got one, but trades a bit too quick. Joel and Rusty both doubling up in the round. They've got to find a triple on at least one of them, should they want to finish it off nicely. Nico is definitely thinking about going for this one. The problem is that their money isn't fantastic. He could pick up the op to his side and just back off if he wants to. Retake is looking increasingly likely with every second. Unlikely with every second.
No Molotov, it's very important. Rusty already flushed out, but taking forward fights like that, there has to be someone else nearby to capitalize. Didn't expect that the secondary was in at dark, so Joel finds the trade, and GODSENT secure another. I said that was an important round, and you can see why. OG's money not great in response, and they will likely try and hover some cash moving into what will be the last round of the half. They'll probably bend the knee here, but they'll want to round it out with a little advantage before they have to transition to T.
degster would ideally like to get a kill over here, so he can have the naked op in the next round. Actually, Neofrag can drop. Never mind. What am I saying?
Yeah, 2,400 loss bonus. So
Tack used from GODSENT at this stage. That's interesting. I mean, I will say as well, the amount of 1v1s that have sort of just been lost by GODSENT, it's a high time that they actually managed to get one for themselves as well.
Also, probably just making sure everyone's aware what they should be expecting in this round, because there was always this possibility that they just need that extra time to help calculate themselves what the loss bonus was looking like for OG, what their money situation is. If they were on max loss, they could have expected half buys and extra pistols.
5 flows in the apartments. This could be some real damage. Meanwhile, bomb yet to commit anywhere. You have to be careful that these two solitary riflers in ZTR and Plopski don't just get caught out on their return. Flash is avoided. Neofrag's thinking about it for sure. Only one player to deal with, but he can't get the headshot. Not immediately. Delayed peek to come through as well, but Plopski's dealt with both. Degster gone as well. And Plopski knows what's coming his way. What's coming his way is more eco-frags if he can just sniff them out.
Yeah, it's nice for Plopski that he's, one, been able to hear these players in towards that A bomb site, see a couple of them, but also the lack of presence over it B, that was pretty much all the indication they needed. Rusty was constantly probing that area, probably just hyper suspicious of the fact that there was no nades, no nothing. So yeah, Plopski's on high alert. Where there's one, there are many. Not having a lot in that round. OG tried to use numbers, but Plopski finishes it off with a nice little anti-eco ace. Very simple affair as well. Peeking one by one.
Has a good time.
Yeah, I think it's many a fragger's dream to be given positions like that, really.
No kit this time over from OG, so you're expecting to see maybe a little bit more early aggression. And I mean, who am I kidding? It's Degster, right? I'm expecting to see him go for a bit of an early aggression anyway. But Flame this time will be actually leading the charge right there with them. No flashbangs to help him out. No Molotovs either to be able to disguise his footsteps. But even so, they don't realize where he is, and they can't find him even after he's got the first kill. Degster covering off his behind. Rusty's found Nico, and Degster now forced to retreat as well. Flames instead will be given company by the B-side players who push all the way through Banana, and he will now vacate by going back to Banana and leaves Degster completely alone. Dexter is being flanked in from apartments and potentially Plopski to push through that smoke, but he's decided to rely on the fact that they can't know how many players are coming in through Banana, and they can't know he's all alone on the A-bomb side. Dexter, in aggression, he will find the defense of his life.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Plopski ready for that play. Good counter here from Joel. Finding the ever-elusive Degster Flames combo on this A-bomb site will be quite difficult. They've actually just traded positions. Neofrag now occupies A. But pretty hard to stall here if you're Flames. Has a smoke and a flash, sure, but that smoke, they can just run straight through it, and if they have the numbers, they can trade. Easier said than done. 30 seconds, and breaking past that point, GODSENT need to make their move, and quick. They're having to really slow work through so much territory, but given how OG approached the start of this round.
They better be using Molotov for this angle. Smoke might not be enough. Dexter's been likely to pursue these so many times. Degster wants another smoke push between friends. He goes ahead, finds the first. Neofrag's covered him off as well. And inside the smoke, OG connect and find their 8th. Off to a break as we wait to find out what this T side holds from them, because Dexter is on fire right now. And right back into things we go. GODSENT still up to 7 despite what looked like it was a great start for them. A few too many 1v1s that were lost out. Now the question is, what do the CT side have in store for us today?
Draken trying to hunt for some information towards second middle, but it's nothing quite so fast in from OG. Only a smoke and a flash available on Nico. Everyone else ready to scrap on this T side take. But it does limit some of their options. Slow working, see if GODSENT make a wrong step. They've gone for an A-sided stack, but usually when we see players go for 4A, they go for a more aggressive setup. This is a defensive line from GODSENT. They're really relying on Plopski to sort of try and slow them down on B. If he finds nothing, the rotate will be rather quick, and they'll have to move through CT.
Oh, Plopski caught out with a flashbang. Can't find Flames' head. Just jumping up as well. The bomb plot is free. Basically, they want to play a full 5-on-5 retake. They do have 2 smokes in the CT, so Banana can be continually locked out. But if they just take store inside the side, it'll be so damn tough. Flames finding the first one. Neofrag and Fiku nearby as well. So this triangle of doom inside the coffin is assisted from the side. Nico playing back towards a new box. Good for the one. The P250 is going to keep on keeping them at bay. Neofrag only one to find a kill from the triangle. And it's all Dexter and Nico now left to try and play in the double bait and switch setup. Nico is going to keep on taking peeks. He knows that these players in front of him are going to end up circling the corner soon. Dexter has to be given some time to be bought in for. Smoke down, but it's at the wrong point. Rusty, time's already lost out of the way. He has recovered the kit, but cannot recover the round. Another 1v1 going by the wayside for GODSENT.
Yeah, and one that's under continual time pressure because of how long they were stalled in towards construction. So you could see that they were really wanting to get that smoke on the bomb. They had a misread on where it was going to be planted for as well. They thought it might have been coffins. I think the added confusion certainly didn't help. All trying to account for where Dexter is, but where's the damn bomb? OG, that's a great round to win on that pistol. Not quite as clean as what we saw from GODSENT's T-side pistol, but the result is all the same. Also, I mean, GODSENT going for a plan like it, it's clearly something that they've rehearsed,
yeah.
But things don't always go to plan when you're playing officials, especially against OG, who I feel like will always look for room. Always look for a space.
And if there isn't space, then they've got a big old sledgehammer to go make it. Thank you, Dexter.
Yeah, just hit him while it hurts.
Everywhere.
Kind of ground taken already here from OG, but Rusty has no way to really link up with his other players. No flash that can be deployed from either of them in pit, and now they're pulling that smoke. Oh, SMG fights, not exactly pretty from either involved. And Rusty as well, just a little fadeaway burst, finds a follow-up. I don't think he was expecting to get that, but he will happily take it. A 3-on-5 to start off this round is significant. This is a force buy from GODSENT that could overturn.
I was surprised in the first place when Rusty maintained position for that long, but the fact that he re-smokes, there's obviously audio cues a little bit wonky about where it could be coming from because the smoke sounds nearby and everything as well, but he re-smokes, dodges the flashbang, gets 2 kills in the fadeaway. That's kind of insane. GODSENT. I mean, even with Draken coming in on the flank, this is getting bigger and bigger. They know that Draken's just going to be a dead man guaranteed coming in from behind. And now with ZTR staying alive as well, the bomb's been dropped. It's chaos all across the map. It was Neofrag, I do believe, on the bomb side at the end. Was Dexter trying to come in from behind on CT? Like, OG just trying to clutch at straws.
Yeah, massive round from Rusty in particular. I think it was 4. I think I might have actually been able to sneak away with a 4th kill there, which is pretty substantial considering the impact that one SMG was able to have on just the plans of OG. It felt like they were getting a lot of open territory. Things were going all according to the way it had been called at the start of the round. Only for the kills not to fall where they had expected as well. So, force buy here from OG in response. See if they can hit him right back, but even if they do, the GODSENT very likely to answer again with a force buy if that should happen, and they've got some floating cash as well. They can make that buy look almost like a like a half. You know, a half commitment alongside an M4, perhaps. Yet to be determined.
Flames doesn't find the frag. Was really hoping the solitary lure could get him a quick headshot.
I'll say, Plopski's demanding a lot of respect over at B, and he's been puffing out his chest a bit. The M4, he's got like a Molotov that he can deploy if he receives some pressure, and finally they break down that sort of 4A setup that they had deployed earlier in the round, but B will be where they start to fixate on the OG side. Smoke down, they might have to go through it.
Molotov as well, just to prevent the crossover. They've managed to move back into CT, but Neofrag's going to be too late to party. The music's already winding down. The dance floor is no longer occupied. There's no one nearby, but Neofrag still gets a partner. Does end up finding one, but unfortunately for him, he's lost out all his teammates in his pursuit of a few more frags.
And all the rifles, the premium ones at that, are able to stay afloat, so might have lost one of the M4A4s in there, but Galil's just about as good. It's unfortunate. OG have to bend the knee. They cannot get the force buy to fall their way, and I was kind of prepared for OG to sort of dig GODSENT into a bit of a hole at the start of that T side.
Why are there 3 people still in? Oh, they're chilling. Okay.
Yeah, playing noughts and crosses.
Is that what you guys call it?
Noughts and crosses, I think, is certainly more UK. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Tic-tac-toe is the other one, right?
Yeah, that's the one for sure. Yeah.
But what is a tick, attack, and toe? There's only 2 options: X's and O's.
Well, the tick is because you tick it. You don't put an X on. And the tack is because you put a tack on, not an O. And the toe is when you get 3 ticks and tacks together.
Is that what? You've only got 3 toes?
Yeah.
Oh my.
But you can have a maximum of 5, right? But that's not the ones that are doing the work, because there's 3 in the middle of the ones doing the work.
The more you explain, the more I'm confused.
Because I'm making it all up as I go along.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, OG might be doing something similar. Feels like that's all you can do when you've got Glocks and a P250. Make it up as you go along. P250 amongst Glocks is really a king amongst blind men.
Well, Rusty does end up falling. They were hyperfixated on dealing with him in particular. And, I mean, they'll take it. Pistol's not finding too much. AK recovered as well. It's all fine and dandy. Looking good here on the GODSENT camp. The T side for them did have a few dips and dives, but certainly could have been more rounds. You know, we're talking about some of the clutches that were won by OG to sort of round out that half with an 8-7 scoreline. Many could have fallen the way of GODSENT as well, and this could have been a little bit more of a dominant scoreline. This still has been quite close. And hoping that this next buy from OG will perform in being exactly that once again, or whether we'll see GODSENT continue the good times.
Flames has made a lot of noise for here. But there's no real counterplay that's being planned out. They would have to disassemble the boost if Rusty wants to get busy. That will not be the case. Flashbang, what really? What? Huh? I thought it popped behind him. Rusty might have thought the same as well. Fiku finds him completely blind.
Yeah, I didn't see if he tried to turn and play anti-flash. Might have actually turned into the flash. Who knows? Result is very clear, though. Rusty didn't stand a chance in that fight, and he was alone in his effort. Plopski trying his best to keep them at bay on the Arch's wrap, but can only delay by so much. Bullets are down, but Joel alone on this site and unable to get anything for his efforts, so that will call it quits here from GODSENT. Siphoned off the exec right on the money and just able to isolate the last defender. Not much you can do. OG up to double digits and tying things up once again.
Draken yet to find a frag on the CT side of things either. And obviously the reason why you have to highlight that is just because of how damn effective degster was on his own AWP. Maybe you're not expecting a similar performance. It would be hard to, but at the very least some impact is going to be required very soon. But yeah, very nicely played from OG. I would love to see whether he turned into the flashbang or not as well, because I was sure it was going to be behind him. Rusty's demise is just what accelerates up that Arch's push, and Joel just can't find the frags.
Yeah, and the fact that he was just sort of stranded on an island, you know, that's a position that I've seen played and used by many different teams over the years. And usually you have someone in at short or someone hiding under the shelter, but there was none of that. There's just no presence aside from Rusty by himself. A strange one, perhaps.
Take time after OG call as they are facing some difficulties. Michael, have you managed to catch much of Draken's opping in specific anytime recently? Because obviously, you know, there's always going to be that lurking narrative of, hey, this guy's getting all of the, you know, the Draken zone was sort of what it was coined, more than 30 degrees and you'll hit it. Less than, you're a little bit more flaky on that. Have you been able to catch any of his opening recently?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, Draken only really was characterized with that when it came to big games. Like, it felt like that was a pressure part of the game for Draken, is that, you know, his flicks usually very consistent, and that proved to be the case. But yeah, just missing the easy shots when it came to big games. I just don't think we can say whether that's, you know, outside of, you know, that narrative is, I guess, a folly now that he's sort of re-emerged back into Counter-Strike or not, just simply because we haven't seen him on those big stages since then. So I don't think I've really seen it. You know, he certainly will still miss shots. You know, he's human. I just don't think it's something that I'm willing to characterize with him on his re-emergence just yet.
Man, I remember the days of Draken, Disco Doppler, and Rez all being on the same team on Epsilon, I think it was. God, that team was just, everyone on the team was like, oh my god, this guy's going to be the next big Swedish talent. I think it was Freddie B, Draken, Rez, Disco Doppler, and everyone had that reputation about them. And I think Rez perhaps least of the bunch, but Rez still with us on the highest tiers of CS. Draken trying to make a return there as well.
I think as well we were always interested in the next come up because there were there were much less teams in circulation, you know, less chances to show what you had and actually qualify. Like I feel like there were more invites back then as opposed to the sort of there were open qualifiers, but there would only be like one slot given up to it. You know, I think like we've had an expansion of more tournaments offering like sometimes even from 2 to 3 positions, from open to then closed quals, and you know, I just felt like there was more fixation on, oh well, these teams at the top, they ain't gonna be there forever. There's got to be someone else soon.
Especially for the Swedish scene.
Yeah, but now there's so many teams, it's actually hard to say who gets that chance over another person. You know, you're playing a lot more theory crafting. Sometimes the decisions were a little bit more linear. We've got options now.
No aggression from the CT side on any front, but they might be looking to reface into middle. Rusty and Draken both maintaining presence underneath the shelter. Rusty just playing for the anti-Molotov. But that Molotov will never come. The B-bomb side is a destination for OG, and they are trying to guarantee a little bit more presence here. Oh, good nade.
Yeah, a really solid one just as they're lining up the exec, and finally these smokes will come out. ZTR actually blocking the smoke, so it's a little imperfect, but one he could play around with, even transition to dark if he's given enough room. ZTR gets his kill, even jumping on top of the side of the coffins, and a double from ZTR just as they're trying to transition into the site. They cannot track down this trade. Finally, ZTR dealt with, but Plopski and now takes up his position, only to end up the same, empty-handed.
They still can't
Bomb needs
cross,
to make
though.
its way inside the site, and it still hasn't crossed.
And the smoke's going to dissipate. There's no way to actually get the bomb across without finding the kills, and Dexter's gone and done just that. Bomb can now cross over. Dexter's got 2, and Draken left alone. All 3 players have been at least softened up, but you're going to get hurt eventually, even if you're being hit by a wet pillow. That many times over, Draken just holding on and hoping that someone will get aggressive into him. There's no way Fiku's going to be doing that, though. No reason to either. What looked like ZTR had stolen away that round from that one small player blocking out the smoke just ends up being Fiku. Getting maybe a bit too much.
Draken just sees them throwing weapons on the roof, and he's unable to punish the littering. Not sure if...
I think Fiku dies here.
Nah, he'll get away. He's gone, I think, enough distance. Yeah, he's fine.
Alright.
It was close, though. If he didn't round past that shelter, I think he was a dead man walking. But yeah, a round that looked like it was going to be a GODSENT success. You know, all the util out of their pockets, no way to establish that cross, really had to fight their way out, and GODSENT just couldn't do anything to punish it. It's a pretty sad way to lose the round, especially from Draken's point of view. You know, he's gone through middle, he's trying to find them, setting up in post plants, only for that to not even happen, and him to lose his double player setup through CT. Dexter trying to be aggressive around the Molotovs. The early exchange of util over Banana continues, and now there is no retreat. They have to fight forward, and they're forced to do so, but OG seemingly caught unaware that they were going to continue to challenge another double from ZTR, that this time we'll see whether they can convert it.
I mean, much better state of the map for them this time over. OG's completely spread across. They've got to take so much time to actually recollect themselves, and ZTR and Plopski just backed off into the bomb side as well. ZTR able to spot them out. Grenades, not going to find anything at all. Doesn't go quite deep enough. But also, OG do have a fair bit of time to try and figure out whether there's an opening to exploit. Would not be surprised to see them save if they lose another player sometime soon, but they are collecting their pathway back to B.
Third man over as well, and now that the util is sailing out, the third man will stick around. I think Rusty was just throwing util so that they could clear some info over at Banana, and now that they've been met with more resistance, it is a safe call. Not much left in the tank, no extra smokes, and no one overstepping here from GODSENT. It's always the fear on CT sides. If you noted OG were still split up. So were GODSENT, really. They had no read, they had no aggressive moves. There was no one pushing the advantage after the early aggression over towards B. So they were kind of flying a little blind, and these 3 OG players, that they've been able to find an isolated duel on one of those B players. You know, I think sort of cascade from there, but doesn't happen. This time the double from ZTR is enough, and we'll tie things back at about 11.
Very close affair. I mean, even the individual rounds, most of them have just been coming down to these clutches in the beginning of the game, but now obviously just the quick exchange of rounds. It feels like now the Dexter is no longer able to get the same impact. OG's lacking a little bit of that firepower, and sure, listen man, he's had a few crazy rounds even over here with the AK and whatnot, right? But it's obviously not quite the same. I will dominate the entirety of one wing of the map on my own.
Much deeper contest this time here from GODSENT, but not actually committing deep into Banana. Just jump spotting, seeing what OG do in reaction. Neofrag was not spotted on his pursuit to attain more control. Once again, Plopski will be left to his own devices. even though he didn't really play with Device that much when he
True.
was an IP. Yeah.
It was a little bit, but
Well, there was a period, yeah.
yeah. But could you really say it was his devices? Don't really know about that one.
Yeah. Device eating well, though, in the upper bracket.
Of course, Charlotte's going to be facing off versus Cloud9 to decide who the first team to qualify through will be. That'll be tomorrow. Make sure you guys are tuning in for that one. It's going to be a great match. I can't wait to see Device versus Shiro. Right now, it's all about Draken. Needs to start being able to find some frags. The CT side's not been kind to him. A flashbang to let his riflers do the work, and Plopski's out for it. Good for only one, though. ZTR still present at the back of the bomb set, and surely they know. Finds a player, turn around, can't get the double this time. And Draken still locked out of the bomb site, is calling for rotations to come through. It just feels like he's got nothing to offer here on the retake at all. His position is so compromised. With no one in New Box, where does he even look out to?
They have one flash, one smoke, and they'll use that smoke towards the mouth of B. So it'll split degster off from the rest of the troops trying to hold in this post plant. The nade is solid, Fiku gone, and Nico needs to be able to step up, but smokes, that doesn't phase degster. He pushes forward, the no scope, and the follow-up, not gonna find it. Rusty dodging a big bullet, and Nico trapped at the back of the site can find nothing else. So it's a retake success here from GODSENT. They put up a good performance from those defenders initially, but OG just couldn't feel comfortable in the post plant.
Dexter looked like he'd won that for the team right there. I cannot believe the second one misses on such close range. It's obviously RNG, so you are going to miss a few of those, but it feels like he hasn't been missing them throughout this game so far. Also, man, good flashes to force Draken off the angle, and I don't want to blame him for missing out on some shots over there, but the problem is still, we aren't seeing that same impact, and the riflers of GODSENT have to be commended. I mean, ZTR is doing such a good job on this B-bomb site. Feels like he's always good for one, good for two so many times over as well. Their utility timing over here is great as well. They've still got grenades towards the end of the round for these retake situations. That 3v2, rather the 3v3 was converted to a 3v2 so easily just by some good nade damage over there.
Yeah, and for context, you know, we see so many saves in the pro circuit based on just not being able to get that one or two kills from your B players or from your A players to make the contest even feasible, really. So, yeah, the fact that he's putting them in the right conditions to perform on these retakes, and then sometimes it's still falling through, it can be rather difficult, but this time it was a success for GODSENT. I do agree, Draken, at some point or another, you know, this passive gameplay that we've seen from him so far on the AWP has to change. He is getting diffed, but the riflers are stepping up for GODSENT, flashing through the apartment. Rusty not going to get caught by it, but Fiku will find him on the frag, and Draken, once again, a little too passive to support. His teammates have died all around him, and this is almost certainly a save decision. You just don't have the players, you don't have the bodies to commit in, even though they've got the resources.
Rusty getting caught out by the red herring that the apartment's hoppers always do throughout. Oh, I gotta kill the guy dropping down. Oh, wait, no, everyone else killed me instead.
First guy's the most important.
Yeah.
In some respects, you know, changes the pace, changes the room you can take on a T side, so... You know, I think the priority is certainly, you know, placed in the right spot, but yeah, you ideally don't want to leave yourself too exposed.
I think it's more true when there's a pit player. When there's a grave player, there's an angle for him to be able to find this first one if he's dropping out to the right side pretty easily, regardless. If you're willing to reveal yourself, obviously. But, I mean, they had 4 players in the A-bomb, so I feel like you should be okay with revealing yourself as the grave player.
Yeah, I think the hierarchy of aggro there might be something that they've toyed with. But, yeah, not getting that one kill did certainly come back to bite them. This game just keeps bouncing back and forth between GODSENT sneaking a lead, OG right back, so hard to say who comes out ahead on Inferno. This, of course, GODSENT's pick in the series, and given that I think they have correctly been placed as underdogs, it feels like a necessity that they come away with an early advantage. Rusty, 1 kill, and that's an early advantage that they can indeed capitalize on. A 5-on-4 to start that has immediately reset to the standard setups here for GODSENT. You can see them transitioning through spawn to make sure that everyone's in the right spots.
Rusty has been incredibly impressive. I mean, some of these aggressive moves that he's willing to go for as well, some of the maneuvers he's trying about, this is really nice to see from a rifler.
They had that big impact on the MP9 round as well,
Yeah.
which is really what kick-started the defenses of GODSENT. Remember, they lost the pistol only to overturn it, courtesy Rusty.
Thank Mr. Rust. Molotov for the CTs doesn't actually stop the terrorists from proceeding through. It just differentiates and segments them off and buys a bit more time. Draken's back to a angle where he will be smoked off pretty soon. Fiku lining up the divider smoke, but actually decides against it. No, never mind. It's going forward. Yep. Flashbang not going to be landing, and Draken's got his first from the CT side, courtesy of Fiku, trying to cheat a crossover before the smoke actually bloomed.
Danger looms over at B. Molotov down in ZTR. That's a great smoke to have in his favor, but losing Plopski is unideal. Now back into the flames he goes, but Nico just recovering from that flash, able to deal with him at the back of the site. This is a man advantage, a significant one at that. That is dwindled. Draken, a secondary frag that is so crucial, slows that bomb plant down even longer, and Nico needs to get this one down. Tried his best to avoid the spam, but he dials in those digits in time, but he's trapped in at the first oranges, and Joel on this flank just has to find out that secondary player. But they're trying to fight Nico out of this spot.
Neofrag is on heading away, doesn't want to reveal his position. Nico's made the call that Neofrag will not commit until Nico's taking the duel. There's no grenades this time, so no way to make this a freebie. Nico spotted out Joel, quick headshot, Neofrag. There's only so many places where he could be, but the time is ticking down and away. He has to find this first frag, and the game is basically done and over with, and I think it might be regardless. Right on the nick of time, they don't have a kit. It's going to be down to the wire, and GODSENT. It could not be closer, but it will transpire.
Oh, that's milliseconds. That is actual milliseconds. Neofrag, had he bought a little bit more time, there's no way GODSENT can defuse there. The lack of kits. Oh my god, what a heartache. But they don't get 5-on-3'd. Or 3-on-5'd. That's the important piece here for GODSENT. They almost lost that man advantage in such a way that would have been heartbreaking. Or it would have been a backbreaker when it came to this map, but keep their spirits high enough.
Oh no, Neofrag didn't know.
There goes that man. ZTR, another kill, and Plopski collects on Nico as a trade. So all that B presence now lost here for OG. They have to take something else, and that will be the brackets. I think that double kill last round as well from Draken was his first kill in like 10 rounds, something like that.
A long time.
Yeah, it had been a decent amount of time since we saw some impact from him, so maybe it's exactly what he needs to suddenly find his form.
I do like this from him, getting a bit more aggressive, and although he could end up being caught out, spots out the feet. It's a trade, but the problem is degster was the first one to break blood, so back to a 2-on-2. Joel, back in pit, will be forced forward, smokes over here, but before he deploys it, he gets a frag as well, so 2-on-1 of bomb plant in a safer location. Has to actually isolate out the duel as well. Can he find it? Joel, flashbang will not be connecting. Fiku flashes himself, that's not ideal, but at least will not be affecting him too much. Has to be wary about the double swing to come in from both Pit and Schmiz. That Pit could have actually crept through, and now Fiku's realizing that smoke might be doing him more trouble than good. Positions given up. Fiku dodging out util like it's a flashbang, but really it's all up to him. Elevated position, he's backed up into a corner. Has to be careful, the flames are licking him over. Joel as well, jumping up in the elevated position himself. Time's run out. Joel's not going to have this defuse.
No, I think he's just barely got it. He's got the kit, so that's all he needed. That's a clutch for Joel. That is so important. A 14th, another 1v1 that GODSENT are able to squeak on through. These post plants, these clutches have been important in getting this little distinction, this little gap between them and OG. And oh man, it felt like they were about to get punished for trying to assemble a crossfire so late into the round after brackets have been taken by this OG squad. That could have been a decision that haunts them. Could have been a tying moment. But now OG down in the dumps.
Wow. Money's gone. All GODSENT has to do right now is just hold their nerves and hold down the line versus the Eagles.
Gotta say as well, I mean, Joel's transition, I'm pretty sure he was an AWPer before.
That's what I thought too.
I remember on, I think, God, I'm trying to remember which roster now.
Was it Savage?
No, it wasn't Savage. Pretty sure the Savage AWPer was Chawsey. And then, I want to say Galaxy Racer?
Yeah, that's the team that became Savage eventually.
Well, I don't think he was actually a part of that move, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, we're plucking there. Either way, I'm pretty sure this guy used to be an AWPer, and that's part of why he was, you know, like a young player that people were kind of excited about. Young AWPers, we can't get enough of them. But his work on the rifling has been sound since he sort of moved through to Monty and now subsequently into GODSENT as well. So good to see that he's still eating good.
Nico's dodged the nades. He knows where these players are. They're headed all the way back to the bomb site. Look at the information he's managed to find. He was a damn good hand on the Deagle yesterday as well. A kill over here would go a long way, and Rusty does not want to contend with it. Rotation being called back over. Plopski's been given a bit more space to move as well, courtesy off the flashbang. But now, Neofrag closing the distance. P250 getting all up close and personal. Rusty and Joe like it personal, though. They're going to keep the firepower going in their favor. USB pulled out as well. Dexter might have recovered an A4, and that's used to quickly eliminate the site player. Re-smoke over. Think he spotted Plopski over there as well, but he wants to isolate out the duel. Knows that Plopski's going to be a bit scared as well. Dexter, with the domination he's been providing so far, managed to put some fear into the hearts of his enemies, but even so, they will come out on top.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know that Plopski was still sitting in a graveyard as well. Just had that cross as soon as he, through the smoke and moto, wanted to transition and focus in on short, but just could not. And looking like GODSENT are going to take away their map pick 15 to 12. They get 3 swings at it unless we end up in OT. But no AWP for Dexter, which has been really where he's done most of his best work. Had that good rifling round over at B as well, but those have been far and few between.
Nice nade. Really nice nade.
Did start with Draken over at B, but now that the early pressure has been received on both sides of the equation, looking to reset. And wait, don't wait. He was going to reset, but
okay.
now it's decided that I think someone else might be the one to rotate. I think ZTR is just waiting for a particular timing to deploy a smoke to reinforce, but it leaves this A site vulnerable.
Retake agility is at a good time.
Are they actually going to push behind it on the side of GODSENT? They seem to be of the inkling that B is under siege, and they'd be right. The boost spotted. Draken's ult finds that kill, and the wallbang attempted will not connect. But ZTR is now in no man's land, in at the sandbags, trying to hold on to top B as best he can. But these players weakened up might favor him.
Draken's got a flashbang as well. This is going to be massive if he just deploys it in time. Draken needs to start sending it forward. ZTR turns around, fully blind, but they still get the frag. His HP just wasn't conducive to the play that he wanted to go for. Draken now forced off the angle and called to action. There's not a smoke in between him and the enemy, but he's missing out shots. So Draken angle comes back to haunt him. Plopski down as well through the smoke. Dexter, the one to connect, and it's Joel and Rusty. Now 2 on 3 converted to 1. Rusty backs off and he's running away. Draken, what a miss from him.
Yeah, that's a kill that he should be getting 100% of the time. I mean, the first attempt as well, after trying his best to support ZTR, that one's understandable, having to fall back into those positions, but OG were seemingly caught off guard by his spot. There was no molly at the new boxes. There was no added pressure of his position. One that slips on by. Maybe we will characterize it back into into
Yeah,
play at
maybe.
some point or another. But I'm still willing to give the benefit of the doubt. Again, I said they had 3 swings at it. That was only swing number 1. 3 and you're out. I feel like the mental ramifications could hit this GODSENT roster. I think the one thing I'm concerned about, moving deeper into the future, I don't know who acts as, not an in-game leader as in terms of like strategic elements, who can act as like a mentor, captain type figure on this roster. I'd like to say Draken, one of the older guys on this team. Plopski can also, I imagine, provide some insight in that regard about keeping good mental and especially bringing up these younger guys, ZTR, Joel, respectively. Rusty's a pretty young dude himself.
I imagine Draken's the one who might need some of that counseling you're talking about right now, though.
It's all that mental leadership. That's what's putting Draken off of his AWPing right now.
Oh, Rusty, great kill to find initially. Knows there's another man behind, and he might be able to connect as well. Near frag. Down to 4 HP. Joel's demise has been met. Rusty wants to keep on fighting, wants to keep on picking, and Neo frag is there to punish. Still with only 4 HP left. This could be another frag for Plopski to find some decent damage. It's already being prepped up, but Neo frag now being propped up by the AWP. Shoulder spotted. Bomb heard. Plopski can't get the headshots.
Dexter gives him the AWP, and then just immediately, well, he didn't do anything with it. Oh,
Here, have the AWP and die.
Oh, this could get a little weird. There's... Okay, never mind. I was gonna say there's an AWP there, there's an AK. Fika giving up all that ground and not protecting those guns could have come back to haunt them. Would have allowed a free AWP over, or, just a rifle that, Rusty's been solid on his holds. ZTR, some of the positions that he's been holding, having an AK could actually really benefit him, considering he's been able to dink players and sometimes not been able to finish off the multi-kills that he's been consistent at getting so far when it's been B-side attacks.
Great first kill to find as well. That's a bomb being dropped as well. And in the meanwhile, OG doesn't feel comfortable going back to retrieve it with Neofrag yet. Flashbang peek down mid was possible with the flash going forward via Joel. However, no one's actually there behind it, and no one's really here behind the brackets either. Very few players in the A-bomb side as GODSENT have once again prioritized the B site.
Much more what I want to see. Much more what I want to see from Draken, taking space, taking opening duels. We saw just defensive setup after defensive setup. He was a rotationary man. And now even combating over towards B. That's why they wanted that extra player floating around, just in case it went pear-shaped. But it does leave Draken in a very compromised position. Lose a duel inside of the apartments. This A-bomb site is open for OG to take.
Nice move from Joel. He's found a timing to tree pass and actually go back to the graveyard as well. So that's a good bit of support that he can offer up to Draken. This is a fantastic setup to be in if you're GODSENT. All you have to do is just not muck it up, and Flames might be mucking it up for them. Flashbang goes deep as well. Rusty, while avoiding, will back off, but the Farmers will find nothing. Draken elsewhere on the map connects, but it's still a 2-on-3. ZTR alone drops the bomb and now retreats. He's got the incendiary as well, so should he want to deny the bomb plant on default, it's quite easy to do so, but instead he's prioritizing the Molotov for later on into the round. Flames, bomb has been faked out, reveals the fact that it's not actually being planted. With 15 seconds left, he has to commit behind the pillar, the only safe place, and even that is not safe any longer. 16 found. GODSENT do seal the deal, but man, oh man, what a close affair that was overall.
Yeah, a 16-14, and the fact that they had that little bit of leverage, that little bit of space towards the end of the game, certainly coming back to help them, that's for sure. I mean, so many clutches in this game, and it really could have